We're going to discuss a supply shortage in this episode because that's exactly what's happening right now. When there's a shortage of supply, people know that prices tend to skyrocket, so we'll discuss the entire situation, including who is buying it and where it's going, because the institutions aren't playing around. This is because, as we thought, the ultimate goal of this thing is for institutions to come in and buy everything up to send these prices and price out the retail investor and to take full control of cryptocurrency. And that's exactly what we're seeing. We're going to take a look at February and see what our outlook is for the next 20, not even 20 days. What do we have? 15. There are 13 and 18 days left, give or take, in February. I will update you on the prognosis and the things we are keeping an eye on, so get comfortable, and let's dive into Bitcoin's resurgence at $97,445. Right now, it has increased by 83% over the last day. At $2,642, Ethereum is currently losing money as the dollar peg, XRP, holds down the line and USDT comes in. XRP Bitcoin has remained trapped in a wide range. These things tend to break to the upside when they are in a range, you know. Like a magnet, XRP consistently returns to this 240 range. Bitcoin continues returning to 96 to 97,000 like a magnet. I do think that this time, the breakout will be to the upside, and I am anticipating one. $3,176 billion is the total market capitalization of cryptocurrencies. The representatives at a halftime show meeting to discuss ways to improve Patrick Mahomes' situation struck me as being humorous. Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce, but it didn't seem to work, did it? Because they were handed their butts. Let's quickly discuss the halftime show. What a horrible halftime performance. Is it just me, or have halftime displays declined since 50 Cent and Eminem were featured? Dog Snoop, I really never remembered a good one since then. It was boring and legit sounded like he was singing the same song over and over. I don't know, it was terrible in my opinion. I see a lot of other people saying it was terrible as well, and in the commercials, we all used to look forward to the Super Bowl commercials. I don't even remember any that like that stood out. There's usually like 3 or 4 that stood out that caught your attention. I didn't see anything, maybe because they're getting greedy and they're raising the price, and it's so much to get a Super Bowl commercial the 90s companies can afford to do anymore. I think the funniest like Super Bowl ads of when these companies come to Twitter. I start Arizona iced tea, do one. They're like, we don't need a Super Bowl ad. Or something like, we already know how juicy we are, something like that. It was pretty good on Twitter, free. They got millions of views. Like, I don't know, that's just my opinion. I had to get it out. Crypto market outlook. What are we usually looking at? We showed this to you before. This is dating back. This is over a decade's worth of data. February is usually the second most bullish month behind October for crypto. We are currently roughly 6% in the red for February. This is going to turn around, in my opinion. I do. For the cryptocurrency markets, I believe February, March, and a small portion of April will be bullish. That's what I am examining. I believe that we might be a few months behind schedule for the Bitcoin run, for the all-season run. Nothing spectacular or outlandish. This run should have happened sooner, in my opinion, but I believe we are running behind schedule and that it is beginning to show. February and March, I believe that the run should have occurred in late December, early January, and early February, and that we wrap up in March before the correction, before the year ends. That's what I'm thinking right now, and it all begins with Bitcoin. A lot of investors put this out, and we're going to get into it because it's crucial. After all, as you may recall, Bitcoin will tell us where we go and how much money is coming into the market. There are only 140,000 Bitcoins left on the over-the-counter platforms. If 3 additional purchases are made by MicroStrategy, if the ETFs grow as much as they did in January, all OTC Bitcoin will be exhausted. As you can see, we are looking at a shortage of supply for Bitcoin. If the United States and 15 states start purchasing Bitcoin, the amount of Bitcoin available over the counter will be depleted. If BlackRock keeps purchasing Bitcoin, it will also eventually run out. Remember that we have been discussing the story, not even the story of what BlackRock has been doing. BlackRock has been purchasing Bitcoin like no other, and everyone is saying, well, Supply plus demand equals price. Since BlackRock is purchasing Bitcoin over the counter, which has no bearing on the price on the order books, why isn't the price rising? Do you think that BlackRock is buying at these current price levels because they think that this bull run is over? Of course, it's not El Salvador. They have been stacking Bitcoin at a rate of 1 Bitcoin per day since November 18, 2022, and they have accumulated over 6,072 Bitcoin worth over $585 million in the last 27 months. Patience is the ultimate advantage, which is something that many of us lack in the cryptocurrency space. Then, we get caught up in the meme coin game and start chasing memes because we want profits and crazy money overnight, and we end up getting liquidated. Dr. Profits released the best report I've ever seen, and he states that 1/3 of all over-the-counter just in January, Bitcoin was purchased. This is enormous. The market makers will eventually have two choices when the supply of Bitcoin or over-the-counter Bitcoin dwindles. To acquire Bitcoin inexpensively and shake out the weak, one makes fake news, which suggests that we'll see another black swan event like the one we just witnessed. They rattled people out of the markets by lowering prices and liquidating all along. They then grab their Bitcoin, or if that doesn't happen, they will start a FOMO surge and buy straight from their exchanges. In the blink of an eye, Bitcoin rises to $150,000, she says. Therefore, you need also to be aware of where we are in the current bull run and whether we are in a big bull market or the beginning of a new bear market. He argues the explanation is obvious: we are in a huge bull market. One indication has a 100% precision rate, although numerous indicators support it. Movement of Bitcoin at the over-the-counter desk. Historically, when we saw a sudden increase in over-the-counter inflows, it meant that larger players were selling while retail FOMO'd in. Now, however, during the sideways phase, big players are buying Bitcoin covertly. He says, let me repeat, ETFs bought $50,000 worth of Bitcoin in January alone, and nobody is talking about it. The next leg up is loading, and only a few understand this. No one would buy $50,000 Bitcoin just as a joke, especially not for manipulation purposes. They would have bought spots directly from exchanges if they wanted to manipulate the masses. Lean back and enjoy your valuable time and let those low IQs of zero market knowledge tell you that the bear market has begun or that Bitcoin is about to crash. They bought 30,000 Bitcoins as a joke. Do you think they're just saying, haha, we just bought all this Bitcoin and we know it's going to zero to bull market's over? Of course not. They're buying Bitcoin because they know they have complete control over where the price of Bitcoin goes in the end, and they're all trying to get as much as they can, especially since there is a shortage of supply. When the over-the-counter supply of Bitcoin runs out, they will have to go to the exchanges to buy it. I'll tell you this now, if they go to an exchange with, say, 200,000 Bitcoin, they won't be able to get it with the 200,000 all at the same price. The price will fluctuate and move up, which is why they buy it over the counter, because they can lock it in. For example, they can buy 30,000 Bitcoin at $97K, and they get it all locked in at that price. These public order books aren't able to do that. The incoming supply shortage will eventually lead to alt season, so pay attention and stick to this narrative. The bull market isn't over yet.